The tough truth is, if you're not getting promoted and if your career has stagnated, it is almost definitely your fault. This is a harsh truth that held me back earlier in my career, and I want to save you from the same fate. Because here's the thing, regular advice is not going to help you. You need unconventional, unfiltered advice, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Hi, I'm Mike, and for over a decade, I've worked in finance at companies from the Fortune 100 all the way to brand new startups. And earlier in my career, I hit a plateau. And while I was in that plateau, I became incredibly frustrated, and I jumped ship to get a promotion and ended up in a really bad situation. So here's what was happening. I thought really highly of myself. I was early in my 20s. I had, a degree from a great school, and I was looking around and I felt like I was doing better work than a lot of people. I was even looking at someone who was at a higher level than me on my own team, and I saw them working maybe 35 hours a week. I saw them really not contributing a lot. I, had worked in this same area and I knew my stuff, and I put myself out there for other jobs, and I wasn't even getting interviews at my own company where I thought I was performing really well. My performance reviews were even really good. So I was getting good feedback. I wasn't getting any negative feedback, and they were just kept saying, "You're not ready, you need more experience." Now, the crazy thing is, now I'm a senior manager, and I had this exact conversation with someone saying, "You just need more experience," because it clicked for me. I get it now, and I want to help you get it now. Before we go on, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of our unfiltered finance content. I post a brand new video every single Monday. And make sure to stick around to the end, because I'm going to share a tool that will really help you with your career. It's a tool that I use myself, and I'm so excited to share it with you. So let's get into it. There's 3 different buckets of things that will really hold back your career. I want to share with you how these were holding back my career and what you can do to break through them. So these 3 things are: you have a bad attitude, your toolbox is too small, and you don't know anyone. And these 3 things will manifest them in different ways, but I want to make sure you really understand these and how they can impact you. So first of all, you have a bad attitude. Now, there's some people who just legitimately have a very bad attitude. Everything's always a problem. Everything makes them mad. They're just uncomfortable to be around. But there's something a lot more subtle than that that will impact your career. And what that is that you're focused on your career and on your promotion. You're not focused on doing a great job and making your boss's life easy. I really got pulled into this trap of focusing on my career, and every single one-on-one I was having with my leader, I was making it about my career. Sure, I was getting my job done, I was still putting out work, but I started to become kind of this annoyance to my boss because he wanted to get the job done, and I was sitting there talking about my career over and over again. And this is so common. I've led people who do the same thing, where they get passed over a promotion and everything becomes about that promotion instead of about getting the work done. You have to remember, at the end of the day, your job is to do your job well, and your job is to make your boss's life as easy as possible so that they'll want to support you for a promotion. Now, that doesn't mean you don't bring it up. That doesn't mean you don't ask about it or have career conversations. But what it means is you have to have the attitude of doing your job as well as you possibly can, while also working to move your career forward. And that's just such a trap people get caught into. And also what I've seen, I know it was true for me and it's true for people I've led. Once you get stuck in this pattern, it is just so incredibly difficult to dig yourself out. And once your boss has seen you this way, it's really challenging to get back to their support and to make your career a priority for them. Number 2 is your toolbox is too small. Now, the really challenging thing about this is that the toolbox you need changes by level. When you're a brand new financial analyst and we say your toolbox is too small, what we mean is you literally don't have the financial technical skills to move forward. You don't know modeling as well as you need to. You don't know Excel. You don't know PowerPoint. You don't know how to structure and give presentations. You need to literally study and learn this. Now, the great thing is, as you're earlier in your career, a financial analyst, a senior analyst, a lead analyst, a lot of this is based on technical skills, and you can easily go on YouTube or LinkedIn Learning if your company has a subscription, and you can learn these things, and you need to. It is not your company's job to develop your skills. It's your job. I sat around and I kept asking my company to give me training, to send me to things, to tell me what they needed me to do, when in reality, I had a LinkedIn Learning subscription from them I could have dug into. YouTube was still earlier at the time, but it had a lot of this information, and I kept sitting there asking them to do it. And I see people coming to me saying, okay, Mike, you say I'm not good at Excel. Well, tell me what I need to do. No, you are a professional. You have to go do this. This is something I do now. I saw an opportunity to incorporate better data cleaning tools. Even as a busy senior manager, I went out, I learned Power Query because I understand now the importance of building your toolbox. So at the earlier levels, the toolbox is often just literally learning the finance profession, pulling in as many different tools as you possibly can. Now, the tricky part as you want to move to manager, senior manager, and so on, the toolbox becomes a lot more about soft skills. And yes, there's a lot you can learn about soft skills from books, from courses, from watching people. But the challenge with a lot of soft skills, especially leadership, persuasion, and things along those lines, is you have to get in the reps to do it. And this is really where I got hung up, because I did have a pretty good technical toolbox. That's why I was looking around and saying, why are people at higher levels not performing the same way I am? And it's also why I was getting such good performance reviews, because I had that technical toolbox. But getting promoted is about working at the next level. And what I was missing so earlier in my career, and especially as brash and confident in myself as I was, is you need the soft skills toolbox. And the only way to get the soft skills toolbox is to actually be in those situations. And this is something that I have had to repeatedly coach people on, because you're not ready to be a leader until you've been in certain situations. Now, at some point, you do have to just jump in and be pushed into that leadership level, because the only way to learn how to lead is to lead. But even as an analyst, you can lead projects. And honestly, sometimes it's harder to lead people who don't directly report for you. You can lead yourself, right? You can process and improve your own area. You can lead your business partners to better solutions. You can lead process improvement. Whatever you want to do, you can lead. You can constantly communicate, even if it's just with your own team, your boss, your business partners. You can build communication skills. The challenge still is, at some point, you just need the experience of doing it, and maybe you haven't had enough time. The advice that I kept pushing back on was to take a lateral at my current level. And I resisted this so hard because I was seeing myself perform as good or better than the managers I was seeing. But part one, I didn't have visibility to how all of the company was doing. And relative to all of the managers, not just the ones I was seeing, I was not performing at that level. And part two, I'd only ever worked in one area. There's different buckets in finance and FP&A. There's at a high level, there's consolidating roles, there's kind of support roles, and then there's the kind of core business partnering and analytics roles. The challenge was I had never done any of these consolidations roles. I hadn't done any of the kind of core finance roles. I'd only been in business partnering. And that meant my toolbox was small, and I really did need that lateral. Challenge number 3, you don't know anyone, and they don't know you. I really discounted the value of having a network early in my career because I had a standout resume, I had projects I could speak to, and I was going to get the interview, get the promotion purely on the merits of the work that I was putting out there. Now, the challenge is people want to take care of people who've done well for them. People want to take care of people that they know who are also qualified for the job. And as you look to rise to the ranks of a corporation, you're going up against a lot of people who are also qualified, who also work at the same company. So sometimes the tiebreaker becomes who people know, who people like, and who people want to help advance their career. So what I was running into is I was applying for internal promotions. I wasn't even getting an interview because there were already 4 or 5 people that they knew who were ahead of them. Now, is this the right thing? Is this the best thing? Does this give the best candidates? I truthfully don't know. But the thing is, hiring is tough. So just put yourself in the hiring manager's shoes. Would you rather hire someone you know, even if they'll be 90% as good? Or would you rather hire someone completely unknown who could be 100% good or 5% good? So the challenge is, as I said, I was, really working in kind of one part of FP&A. You have to get out there. You have to work in different functions. You have to not be afraid of working in different roles, and you have to network. And again, I am not a natural networker. I do not come up with small talk really well. I don't connect with people that easily. I want to, it just, the words don't come out for me. But you have to network. A great way to network is to work on cross-functional projects. The great thing there is, instead of having to kind of come up with the small talk, you're able to work with people in a working capacity, and they're able to see what you're doing. This has been hugely helpful for me in networking, because I can have people watch me kind of deliver results, and instead of having to, kind of do it on more of like a social and networking basis. Been absolutely huge for my career. But you have to know people no matter how good your work is. You have to do good work. You have to tell people about the work. Otherwise, you're never going to get recognized for it, and it's highly unlikely you will get moved or promoted. Before we move on to my last thoughts, I wanted to share with you the special bonus, and that's going to be my performance tracker. Down in the pinned comment, you're going to find a link to my performance tracker. You can get a free download of it. This is a tool that I use on a monthly basis to track my accomplishments on a rolling basis. And then as it comes time for a quarterly or biannual or annual reviews, I'm able to just pull it all right out, not have to think about it. Because the thing is, all of these tips are important to build your career, but you do still need to document your performance. You still need to tell people about the great work you've done and to make sure you know it. This, again, you can use for your resumes, for your performance reviews. So make sure to click that link down in the pinned comment, get your own copy of the accomplishments tracker, and this will help you out greatly as you review your performance. Now, here's the really tough part of this whole thing. I'd say 8 or 9 times out of 10, you're not getting promoted and your career's stuck because you are doing something that falls into one of these 3 buckets, or many of them. I was in all 3 of these buckets. But I do want to mention that there are times where you're working for a leader or a company where you are being held back for a myriad of reasons. There are not great companies out there. There are not great leaders out there. And unfortunately, there's a lot more of them than we'd like to recognize. The reason I save this for the end is because you really need to sit down and think about the 3 things. Bad attitude, toolbox is too small, you don't know anyone. You have to be really, really critical of yourself and say, am I falling into any of these 3 buckets in any way? You have to have the real talk with yourself. Find someone else, a trusted peer, a trusted mentor, to tell you these things. Do you have struggles in any of these areas? If you truly don't, if you are truly being held back, which again is the rare situation, then it is critical to do one of 2 things. If it's a bad leader, get out of your department. Lateral, however you have to do. Meet people, move, find a way out, and work for better leaders, because leaders do matter at the end of the day. Out of, I'd say, 10 roles, I had 1 where the leader was the problem, not me. Did not see that way, at the time. For most of my career, I thought I was doing really well. Only recently did I learn how little I actually know, but that one time it was the leader's fault. In the second case, you're working for a bad company that just holds people back. And in that case, you just need to leave the company and find a better opportunity. But again, we're talking about the minority of situations. Even at tough companies and tough leaders, you can often work on these 3 things and do better. People do need to get hired and promoted. But if you really sit down and say, it is not me, I swear it is not me, then you either need to leave your leader or leave your business. If you take away just one thing from this video, I want it to be that you are in charge of your career. You have the ability to develop your skills, to develop your network, to go into work with a great attitude of making your boss's life easy and helping make the company money. That is all within your ability. you have far more power over your career than you will ever realize. And once you stop giving that power away to other people, you'll watch your career soar. For me, once I stopped giving that power to other people, once I realized as I struggled in the role I was promoted into at a different company, and once I really struggled and didn't like that role, it was me. Once I took ownership of myself and started developing myself instead of asking other people to do it or sitting there just waiting for my promotion, my career took off, my income doubled within 3 years, and my level went up year after year. My bonuses got bigger, everything, because I took ownership of my career, and I want to see you do the same thing. So that's what we got for today. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a comment down below and let me know where you're, struggling with your career or where you're optimistic about the future. I read every single comment. I'll respond to you and let you know my thoughts. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already and ring the bell so you don't miss a single one of our videos. I post a new long form video every single Monday, and I post shorts every single day of the week. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Until next time, this is Mike signing off from F9 Finance. Cheers.